afternoon, boys. So, Colo from Colo FC. I'm going to do my preview in a few different stages, so 6 stages, hopefully round about a minute each. I've got loads of notes here. Prior preparation prevents piss poor performance and all that. This kind of stuff. Pretty anal for sure. So let's get on with the first one. So first of all, a bit of housekeeping in the league. I've signed 2 players, so I signed Callum Wilson and I signed Ryan Fraser. 2 players that linked up really well last year, and I'm getting rid of them for Sigurdsson and someone else. I don't care, they don't play for Colo FC anymore. So anyway, so the fixtures for the week are Colo FC versus Headfunderland, Chudley Cannons versus Bukati Jatties, new team unetted or uninetted. Why don't you just change that to fucking United? I suspect it's one of those things you've done just because it's kind of fucking wind people up, which it doesn't, of course. So New Team United versus Peter and De Bruyne, Stratton Stranglers versus STP, and the Villains FC versus Sanny Manny. Happy days. Just something I want to mention about the league table, which I thought was really interesting. So Sanny Manny, happy days, he's 3-0, and he scored 301 points after 3 game weeks. The interesting stat for Duracell is that he's only had 221.75 points against, so teams playing Duracell have only averaged around about 74 points. Now, bottom of the league is Bukati Jatties with the total reverse of that, so he's 0-3, played 3, lost 3. He's only scored 235.75 points, but against him he's had a whopping 392.75 points. That's an average of 131 points a game, which suggests that Kyle's had a really unlucky start. But league table doesn't lie, because it does come down to team selection and things like that. But that's the intro done. Alright lads, Colo FC 4, just waiting to pick Duracell up from the football. I've got JJ in the back, say hello JJ.
Hi.
And I've got Harry just here, put your head in Harry, say hi.
Yeah.
Alright. Anyway, so first tie, Colo FC versus Headfunderland. Headfunderland, or Headphones of Brian as we'll come to know him. He's new to the league, seems fairly confident. He's had previous successes in standard fantasy football, which has fueled his confidence, and he actually drafted quite well. He did, however, swap Firmino and Madison for Kane and Tanguy and Ndombele, which shows a little bit of experience. Because Ndombele, I think he was supposed to be a defensive midfielder, but having said that, he's came in, he's done all right, so we'll just see how that progresses. But to get rid of Firmino and Madison for Kane and Ndombele just didn't seem right. Anyway, so we're crossing swords, so it should be a decent tie. Man City are at home. I've got Sterling up front, but Bry's got 3 other Man City players, so if Man City have a good game, I'm going to be up against it. My 2 new guys, Callum Wilson and Ryan Fraser, they are playing away at Leicester, so that's going to be fairly difficult. I'm hoping Newcastle are going to smash Leicester to bits tonight and maybe cause a few injuries, but having said that, Leicester have got a decent squad. I've got Tossard playing. Tossard, he plays for Brighton Hove Albion. They're playing against Man City. If he scores, that changes the dynamics slightly because Bry's got a couple of Man City defenders, so it's going to be an interesting one. I've got Felipe Anderson, who got an assist last week, so that's his first real point contribution. But what I will say is that I think I'll win this tie by about 10 points. Okay. Good luck. So Harry's just asked us, what does Duracell do at the butcher's? And I said he sells meat. But he probably doesn't, he probably cuts it up and stuff like that as well, but it's just one of the stupid questions that my kids ask us all the time. Anyway, New Team United, I'm going to call them for the rest of the season. 3rd in the league versus Peter and De Bruyne, who are 5th in the league. Phil Ragg, he's just come back from Thailand. He was best man at Gary Glitter's wedding. Which I think he was well suited to the role. He's a new addition to the league, settled in very well. Only the other night I received 16 trades for each one of my players separately, followed by a text with Lindelof ? On it. So that gives you a flavour of what Phil's like. I do like Phil. I've known him prior to this, and he's quite a canny lad. He's going to be a good addition to the group. But let's get on to the football. So Phil Ragg, but in different draft really, he's got quite a few newcomers to the league. Newcomers generally take a little while to settle down and to perform to get good points. But having said that, one of those is Pookie. Pookie started really well with 5 goals. He's on 80 odd points. Best player in the game so far after the 3 game weeks. So he's done well to draft him in. Pepe, Ceballos, Lo Celso in his squad as well. Again, all going to be finding the feet. One thing about Ragg, he drafted Virgil van Dijk. I'm sure it was his first pick, which was a bit of a strange one. But having said that, he's doing all right. He's third in the league. Let's see where we are after about, 10 games. It'll probably give you a good indication. Peaking De Bruyne last year, he was a bit of a whipping boy. He's drafted quite well this year. He's got players like João Moutinho, and you know what they say about the Portuguese. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And that's certainly true for Piqué and De Bruyne's team. They all love the breakfast, especially João Moutinho. He's now got Ross Barkley, who he got from me. I swapped him for Callum Wilson. I feel like I got the better deal on that, but I could be left with egg on my face because Barkley actually, although he didn't perform very well the other day, he had a few shots on target. He should have really scored. He was still sort of double figures. I think it was round about 20 points. I can't remember exactly. So that might be quite a good addition. Plops needs to get rid of Zuma out of his defence. He's absolute dog shit. And Kyle Walker-Peters, I believe, is injured, so he's in a bit of a defensive crisis. But he has got Lacazette, he has got Son, all potential high scorers. So for this one, I'm going to say 15-point difference and Piqué and De Bruyne to win. Right, so next tie. Villains FC versus Sunny Manny Happy Days. So Sunny Manny Happy Days, I'm just waiting for Duracell, the butcher, the man himself. We're just about to go and play football with the other Togger lads. Notes. Dan the man finding his feet in Togger. He's a Villa fan. He's got a few Villa players in there. John McGinn, notable addition. Seems like he's going to do well for the season. Scores well right across the board. Tackles, interceptions, assists, goals. He's going to get the lot. Seems like sort of a high action midfielder. He's also got Tom Heaton, the ex-Burnley superstar. I think last season what happened was Nick Pope was in goal at the beginning of the season. Tom Heaton came back. And as soon as Tom Heaton came back, Burnley stopped shipping goals. I was really surprised that they got rid of him, given that goalkeepers can go, 39, 40. I still think he had another 4-year contract left in him, but obviously he's gone to Villa. It's a great signing for them. I think it'll be a great signing for Villains FC. The only problem with Villains FC, he loves defensive midfielders, so Jorginho, Fabinho. Although Jorginho does take penalties, it just depends how many they get as to how effective he's going to be. Generally, he doesn't score that high in the position he plays. Duracell, the high standard of football knowledge. I've known Duracell for a lot of years. Although it was his first season last season, he avoided making any schoolboy errors as newbies usually do. So well done, the butcher, for that. So let's have a look, see what I've got here in terms of defence. So it's a strange one in terms of lineups because Dan Villa has actually got, I think he's got 5 defenders in at the minute versus 3 for Dura. So who's he got? So Dura's got Pereira, Evans and Keane. So Keane wins a lot of aerial battles. Pereira's up and down for Leicester. Evans, again, it's a bit of a risk putting 2 players in from the same team, because if they do ship a couple of goals, then obviously the scoring against is exacerbated. Defence-wise for Villa, you've got Trent D'Arby, Coleman, Lundstram, Lowton and Joel Matip. Joel Matip seems like, I think he scored last week, so he done quite well. But 5 at the back. In midfield, Villa's got Jorginho, McGinn and Pratt, I think he's supposed to say his name. And then midfield for Duracell, Ruben Neves, KDB, Nathan Redmond, James Ward-Prowse and Sigerson, who we got from Colo FC earlier on in the week, in exchange for Callum Wilson. And then up front, he's got Martial, potentially could be injured. There was news at the beginning of the week saying he was going to be injured, but the jury's out on that one. He's also got Vardy. And up front for Villains, we've got Jimenez of Wolves. And you know what to say about the Portuguese. Breakfast is the most important meal of the deal. Simple as that. But for me, Jura wins 15 by 15 points on this one. Cheers, guys. Okie doke. So, Chili Cannons versus the Bukkake Jackies. Bukkake Jackies?
Bukkake Jackies. I do not know.
You do not know? Say Bukkake Jackies.
Bukkake Jackies.
That'll do. So, the Cannons carry on the good form from last season. Huller drafted very well. Arguably the best draft. The Jackies... He drafted all right. He didn't draft too well last season. I think he drafted all right this season, but his squad seems to be looking a bit dire. In terms of midfield, the Cannons, you've got Maddison, Pogba, Pulisic, Tielemans. 3 of them are playing at home, so Pogba's away. And then the Jackies, you've got Almiron, which I'm guessing he's going to get rid of before the end of the game week, or the start of the next game week. Lingard, who he's been trying to farm out all week. Lucas Moura and Jota. Jota is obviously a midfielder who plays up front, so he's a bit of a golden egg. I don't know if that's a phrase for that. Golden egg, whatever. I think Cannons will win the midfield battle. And then let's have a look for defence. So defence, you've got Chilwell, Mings and Robertson versus Otamendi, Schlupp. I see he's put Schlupp in after he got 22.5 points game week 3 and he was sitting on the bench. And Tarkowski, he's obviously... Kyle's got Salah up front. Huller's got Firmino, so he's going to be wanting to take Tarkowski out, and I think that's the trade that he's pretty much been sending out all week. Tarkowski and... who was it? Tarkowski and someone else. Anyway, he's been trying to get rid of all week. I think Kyle's picked up Willian for Jackies, which could be a good pickup. But I don't think Willian looks interested. I thought his body language shit when he came on. I'd had half an eye on him. I thought he would be a good addition, but just thought I'd bite the bullet and go for someone decent like Callum Wilson. So on this one, I'm going to say it's the Cannons to blast Kyle by 25 points. Sorry, Kyle, but I think the Cannons are going to be too strong for you, mate. Okay. Yeah, I think that's better. Right. So this is the last one. I didn't get them all done before. First thing I'd like to say, a good game of football. No serious injuries. Everyone done well. Although there was only 7 turned up, so we had to draft my 10-year-old in. But you done all right. But everyone's fucking knackered, I bet. We should do that every week. No one's getting any younger. We need to keep ourselves fit and healthy. So, last preview of the game round. I'm sure I made a mistake before when I was talking about Phil Ragg and Gary Glitter's wedding. He wasn't best man at Gary's Glitter's wedding. Phil Ragg's dad was best man at Gary Glitter's wedding. And I don't know, he was going to, there was some sort of do-or party or something, and Phil Ragg and his family were going to celebrate. Something to do with Gary Glitter anyway, but anyway, that was what I was talking about before, I don't know. Anyway, enough about Gary Glitter. Stratton Stranglers versus STP. Stratton Stranglers are 7th with 287 points, and STP is 6th with 300, and I think that's his 36. These two boys, two founder members of the Chester Copperpot League, cross swords for the first time this season, but they are both seasoned drafters. Defence, given the fixtures, STP has got Digne and Scranton Stranglers got Mina, so they've each got an Everton defender. What I would say is that Yerry Mina is going to win a lot in the air, but he doesn't really do much on the deck, whereas Digne, he's up and down that left hand side, key passes, crosses, all that sort of shiz. So and I think the other two defenders. So I think Scranton Strangler's got Maguire and El Mohammadi versus Johnny and Aspilicueta. Actually, I think it's the other way around on that. But what I've said is 10 points extra to STP on the defensive side. Moving on to the midfield. So midfield, STP is Buendia, Ericsson, Grealish, which I think should do well. Dan James, Ritchie, and on Scranton Strangler's side we've got Kovacic, Lanzini, Maitland-Niles, Mkhitaryan, and Bernardo Silva, not David Silva, Bernardo Silva. I think on the balance of things there, it's really tricky. I'd say that's pretty even. Although Buendia is not going to score, Ericsson should really start this weekend. I mean, Spurs are crying out for Ericsson to start, and the quicker Poch does that, the better it's going to be for STP. I'll just put a note down. Grealish, he's impressing. Dan James, if he scores, he's lightning quick, so he's always going to get a penalty or an assist, or possibly even a goal. And Matt Ritchie is a known bit of a draft darling. He does get lots of points, so I think I'm going to go STP to score maybe 5 more points in midfield than Scranton Stranglers. And then forwards, we've got Scranton Stranglers, we've got Zaha and Aubameyang, and STP we've got Mane and Dwight McNeil. I think McNeil's probably going to have another good season. There's a lot of interest in the close season from Juventus, possibly even other teams like that. But he stayed where he is to get games, so I think he's going to do well this week. And I think this tie, STP is just going to nick it. And that's it. That's it from me, boys. That is the game week preview. Sorry I've had to do it all in bits, but just been busy, off work and all that. Okay, catch you later. Bye.